Hey guys, Stephen here from Heresy Academy. So this is the imports and setting up video, as you can clearly read the title. I don't know why I read that out. So yeah, I've just started a new project. It's a blank project. I'd imagine you know how to set one up, but you just go to File, New Project, or you just open up Unity and click on New. It's set up for a 2D game. Let's click off the menu. So the main part about it is you can set it up as a 3D and then just revert it to 2D and change the camera in the inspector here, make sure it's orthographic. I don't know every single element of Unity, but I think when you set it up for 2D, when you import PNG files and Sprite assets and stuff like that, it automatically imports them as 2D Sprite and UI rather than textures. So it just saves you that bit of time. I'm sure there'll be something a bit more relevant, or unless it's just that, but that's besides the point. So this is how I've got the layout set out at the moment. The game display, I've just put it a new one. It's the new aspect 5 to 3. So you've got 5 to 4 automatically there, and I've just gone down to add, and I've just changed the aspect ratio. I just wrote 5 3, just named it horizontal 5 to 3 2.0, sorry. Named it horizontal 2.0, and then it's 5 to 3. So we can change this up afterwards as we start building the game if it's not acceptable. Just imagining Angry Birds is obviously horizontal, it's a landscape game. I am actually going to change the layout a little bit, so I'll close the services tab. We'll go through services a bit later, like we want to turn on ads and some other things, so we'll go back to the services a little bit later, like I just said. Just going to move the hierarchy over here. Got the inspector there. Got the projects there. Game screen there. No, sorry, actually, I want to swap the hierarchy and inspector around, don't we? Drop the project underneath. Have a look. Are we happy with this? Yeah. See, I do this just so, like, the scene here. Oops. There we go. So I've got the scene, and then I can see how it's going directly below it. It changes on different games. Like if I'm doing a vertical game, I'll have the game screen next to the scene and have it going up. If it doesn't particularly matter to me, I'll just hide the game screen behind the scene, have project files at the bottom, stuff like that. But this is how I'm having it set up, just in case you wanted to follow along. One other thing in the projects, just because I've got it in this sort of small view here, I'm going to go to this burger menu and change it to a one column layout, just in case you're ever wondering, hang on, why does it look different? You know, I'm just having it here, and this will become important a bit later on. So once I do it this way now, this automatically is your assets folder. You've got a two column layout there. You can see assets, you go into it, there's your assets folder. So you just put it in one column. Don't get worried if you can't see assets, you're inside it. So if you ever create new layouts and then you close your project and it's gone, the reason for this would be it's not saved. So as you can see, I make several different layouts. I think I actually made one in the last tutorial video as well, series. Should probably go through this because I've probably got this done a few times over. I'll just save the layout here and we'll just go Angry Birds. Pardon me. So yeah, this is now my Angry Birds layout. So let's think what we're doing now. So we're going to import and set up. So for now, this is the bit of the setup. We'll go through more setting up a little bit later on. This will be more now me talking about what the assets are, what we're using. So go into the assets here. So I've got these three folders. One is AB, just for Angry Birds, because I've got these different assets already set up. I don't think the prefabs will work, but it's worth giving it a go. I've got the Angry Birds font and then sprites here. These are, that's one thing to point out. You may have seen some other other Unity Angry Bird tutorials. A couple would have been done by the Unity team, so they'd have used this catapult, the asteroid, the grass, and the planks, and the sky background, and the bird. and then there'll be someone else that's done some 3 more videos doing. I think I've not watched them all, but I think doing the level system, stuff like that. So that's where I've got the fonts from, the prefabs folder from her project files. So that's why I don't think it'll work. I'm probably missing some stuff. And then obviously the star sprites and stuff like that. Yeah. So. And also the sounds actually need some work. Basically, I've just gone to YouTube and grabbed a couple of videos. This will be for our audio session, so we're not going to import this yet because I still need to convert these to audio and split it up into what we need. So I'll just grab these. Oh, I probably should mention as well, the physics pack we're going to use is made by Kenney. You may have heard of him. I found these assets on OpenGameArt. It's absolutely perfect for what we need. It's got different types: glass, rock, and wood. Then you can just see another idea there. Comes in 5 materials. You've got these aliens, flags, stars, coins, stuff like that. I said it's made by Kenney. So yeah, so I'm just going to grab the AV and the physics folders and drop these into here. And let it load in a second. It's yeah, it's been a bit. There we go. So it may take a little bit to load in. So obviously, like I said, I've got the Kenney assets from OpenGameArt, and then the AV with like the fonts, prefabs, and the sprites from, I don't remember her name. She's on YouTube. She's put the project files. Oh, I think she's followed the Unity tutorial and then taken it that bit further. Obviously, I'm going to try and avoid doing the same as somebody else, otherwise that'd be a pointless tutorial. I'm pretty sure that's kind of like copyright. I'm not too sure exactly how it works, but yeah, I mean it's bad practice really just to copy someone. So that's why I'm trying to break it up a bit and go into a bit more detail in other aspects. Main extra features would be showing you how to import your Facebook settings, in-app purchases, Unity ads, hopefully setting up the multiplayer. I'm still yet to test that out myself, try and get that set up properly. I've utilised Unity multiplayer before, but not on this this laptop. So we shall see how that works. Yeah, so the assets will be done in a minute. I think what to talk about. In the next video, we'll do introduction to physics. Just a sort of quick basic setup of how the physics engine works. You know, I won't be able to cover every single aspect, but the majority of stuff we'll need for this game will be done in that video. The video after that will be setting up the level structures. Just before I carry on as well, I've basically written down my plan for all my videos, like setting up level structures, setting up the slingshot, coding the slingshot, coding the structures, physics, and then slash enemies. Set up and code the score, and I put a dash to that to star system, stuff like that. So it just gives adjacent, don't know what that word is supposed to be, a general idea of what my video structure will be or schedule. But it may change as I come across making it. So just to quickly go through this now. I'll open up the physics Kenney folder. Just quickly go to like a PNG, debris, any of them will do. Yeah. So I'll just click any of them, and straight away, as I said, it's imported it as a Sprite, 2D, and UI. One thing to do, if you set this up as a 3D project and then just change it to 2D afterwards, when you import your assets, you'd want to make sure you click on any of them. You can probably click on all of them here, and then to do that as well, just hold down Shift and then click the top one, the last one. To go over here where it says texture type, it will more than likely say texture. So you just want to change them over to 2D and UI, and then click apply. Afterwards, we could go through a sprite sheet. It won't really be necessary because we've got the PNG versions, but I'll be showing you basically both ways of working with it. To go through the sprite sheet, with 2D and UI still, but the sprite mode would be single, so you change that to multiple. Don't worry about pixels per unit yet, we'll edit that as we go to make it. So you click on apply, go to sprite editor, then you can just slice it automatically, see what it comes up with. Comes up with the first one, which is no good. So One good thing about Kenney's assets, as I've seen, is he normally does it in a decent grid. So what you can basically do now is just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, that probably wouldn't work because it'll just do 5 all the way across. So just do a bit of a guess. If you knew the size, I don't actually know the size of these. It's just one way you can do. Then we'll get rid of this one. So just delete that. I just sort of try and roughly go from the top corner to here. Roughly, add it out to this top corner. Right, okay, so we're going to go for 70 by 70. What I've done there, I've just tried to grab around this one roughly. It could actually be like 71 by 71, but it looks right at 70 by 70. So what I've done is done this, and I look down here. This is sort of like the inspector view for your sprite editor. And the point of doing that is I'll just delete that now, and I'll go to my slice and go by cell size, and then pixel size here for the X I'll put 70 and 70. This may not work, so I'm just going to click slice and then click off this menu. It looks like it's done a decent enough job, to be fair. It looks like it's nicely done. So that's what I was just saying then about Kenney. His assets are either in basically a perfect grid, or if you know the size, he's kept them all to the same size. As you can see, you've got the circles here, but still they come out the same size as like the squared ones. So yeah, that's just one thing to know, and then you just click on apply. One thing to know about the sprite editor, if you don't have PNG versions, so go down to the aliens, you can see I've got the alien here in the inspector view. One thing to sort of have a look, let's have a look now. Let's just go for this one for now then, the round one, and then sprite one. There we go. So the round one here. There is no difference between the two. Oh, actually, I've just noticed here as well. If you are in a position where you wouldn't really be in this position if you had a PNG and you knew the size by looking at it, and then you sort of, just click on it. You can see the size here, 70 by 70. So that's obviously where to know that the sprite sheet would be 70 by 70. But if you had the PNGs, you wouldn't need the sprite sheet sort of thing. One good thing about using a sprite sheet rather than a PNG is you can load in all the information from one sprite sheet rather than loading all the information for every single image sort of thing. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but sprite sheets are a preferred method by some people. But yeah, so this is what we're importing at the moment, and to go through here as well. Just want to check the prefabs. I don't think they'll work, but 0. Yeah, it's missing the sprite actually, so it's okay. It was just worth a check to have a look, because I like to look at the UI. So just go to container. Oh no, sorry, not the container. That's it's like your canvas, isn't it? So let's put the HUD. I can see it is kind of set up a bit. That's fine. Level buttons. Alright, okay, so it's basically set up the areas here. So what I'll do, I'll grab the link for these assets. What this is basically, if you've not seen the other video, or if you have and it's a bit too quick for you, this will sort of be a slower version. Obviously we're not doing that right now. That'll be in like, let's have a quick look, possibly around part 9 or part 10, possibly, depends on which order we get things done. Yeah, so in the other videos that this woman's done, she's basically used these prefabs and you drop them in. Obviously, I'm sure there's more assets in there. So look, is there are any sprites? Sources background. No, that's fine. Yeah, what was I saying? So as you'll see, let's go back to the level button. You can basically see the sort of setup for the panel, or the level text we've written here, and the star system, left, center, right. you know, for the 3 stars, stuff like that. Everything is basically set up perfectly with these prefabs, so it's a good job to her that this is done. You have your projectiles put here, stuff like that. But yeah, so I'll just delete these now because I just want to have a quick look to see if they did actually work. Should have done it on the outside the recording, but yeah. And then for the fonts, we've just got the Angry Birds font. It's really good to use. It's got a material and a texture with it. Let's have a look. So yeah, in terms of setting up, really, what we could do is go ahead and just grab a background. Let's just say let's go for blue desert, perhaps, or blue grass, coloured grass. I'll go for the coloured grass. We'll just drag this in. Right, so you see now, it's this size. Let's have a look if we can. Oops. Pardon me. No, it's not working. It's not having it, is it? There we go. So as you can see, you could obviously stretch it out, and you don't really particularly want to do that too much. Doesn't look too bad like that. But what you could do as well is just sort of holding down Control. You can move it along per unit, and hold down Control and D, and just sort of drag it out like that. Hold down Control again to move it, to sort of snap it to your units, and you see it sort of lines up fairly well. Have a look now. So just drop this on. Nope, not 0.2, 0.1. That'll do for now. Yeah, so that just sort of gives you another way of setting up background. And then over in the hierarchy, I'm going to create an empty game object, centralize it at 0, just call this background, and then grab the coloured grass, put it into here. Oops. So in the assets folder, I'm going to create another folder. I'll just call this imported, and I'll put these 2 folders inside here, just so like if I create a prefabs folder now, I'm not going to confuse it with the other one. It's going to take a little bit because there's more assets in there. There we go. And create another folder. I'll call this our prefabs folder. The reason we do this is just going to drag our background object in here, just so it's set up as a prefab to hold these 2 objects. We can just move it along as we like. I mean, obviously, I may change backgrounds afterwards. I just thought it would have linked up. Ooh, one thing to check. Let's go down to the PNGs, go down to the background of the coloured grass. Let's check out this point filter. Will that work? Has that done anything there? No, I was just wondering that a bit. One thing I normally do with assets is in the inspector. So in the imported area, we'll go through our assets that we want to use. So like all of these, apart from that one, and then go to the filter mode and put them to a point with no filter. Just apply that. That's what I normally use. Normally use them. Like take the filter off completely, because you've got bilinear and trilinear, but I don't usually use them. But yeah, so this is basically setting up now. You can see as well with this, it's not the most ideal landscape to what's it called? Pardon me. To start working with for setting up our structures, but we'll make it work. Or let's pick another one. Drag this along. It's a bit curly. I think they're all going to be pretty curly. But what we could do instead, if we just drop this out now, we've made it in the prefab so we can pull it back at any point. In the AB folder, we've got sprites, and then we've got a sky sprite here, which is like super huge. And what you can do with that, if you go to your main camera and you change the size of your camera, maybe 10 will do it, a bit more. Ooh, not too much. So yeah, let's say we went for 10. And now this is setting up like similar to how the Unity video did it. So I've just pull this up a little bit. And also the grass fin sprite, pull this in here, drop this down, drag it along, duplicate it, not duplicate it. You know, do it like this, so you've got a flat ground to work with. Sort of like that. I mean, that's one thing I mentioned before as well. I said not to worry about the pixels per unit. What you can do if you want to make things bigger and smaller is in the imported area, change the pixels per unit. So if you look at the ground now, it'll get a bit funky now because I've already set up a few. But change the pixels per unit to 50. And what this basically is, if you zoom in a bit more, at some point these squares represent the Unity units, and obviously as you keep zooming in and zooming in, you're just going to get more and more squares until you get to this last sort of stage. Oh. Revert, sorry, I don't want to change it just yet, I want to zoom back out. But I think it's these squares, and basically each square is supposed to represent 100 pixels. Don't think it's them squares. So, well, these are Unity units, so pixels per unit will be 100. So that's saying this is imported, every Unity unit will be 100 pixels of this picture. So what's this now? So this is 512 and 512, but obviously knock out about half of it. So each one should be about 5. Pull this up. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so each one is about 5 at the moment. So if you go to your import and you change it to 50 pixels per unit, although you've changed this number to half, this will essentially double in size. So you click on apply, and now you see they've all got a lot bigger. So you can pull this one out, pull this one out. Maybe that's not pulled out enough. Pull this one out. As you see, they're sort of hiding behind each other because of the size now is that much. It's it's doubled in size. So then, you know, that's one way of using the same amount of images and just you can make them last longer, make them use up more space. Grab them all, pull them out about that much. Grab your sky sprite to about here, and then you could duplicate it, but I don't think it's going to link up. Maybe it will. Just drag it along. It's not linking up right now, but what you can do is sort of estimate where it should. Drop it down here to -1. Try and have it linking. No, I don't think it's going to link up. I mean, you could essentially lower it a bit. No. Because what you'd be trying to do now is have it sort of looks like it scrolls, but no, it doesn't. So yeah, if you had 2 sky images that would link up, you can basically the same way I did with that other Kenney background. You can set it up so it drags itself, so you can repeat it, sort of thing. Or very similar to the grass tiles. Go to the sky sprite. If you want it to be bigger again, so we don't want to double it, we'll put it to 75, then apply, see what it does. Maybe we do want to double it. We'll see when it loads. So you can sort of drop it out a bit. Still extend it to about there. Drop your main camera in. I mean, perhaps you want the clouds to be a bit higher, you can drop them up there. Go back to your main camera, you know, you can see it scrolls across nicely here to a certain extent, but then it runs out again. So you could double it. and to do that you'd put it to 50 rather than 75. Click on apply. Again, just give it a few minutes. This will sort of wrap up our video with setting up, for now anyway. So if you see now, we've doubled it in size and it spans across the whole length we've got for our floor. As you grab your camera, it's based off how you think it would look. So this is starting to look similar to what the Unity people did. So obviously, like I said, I don't want to just copy people. I'm just basically showing you again, essentially what they did. You can grab your grass sprites, pull them up a bit. You know, that's one way of setting up. So you've got a flat ground to work with. I'll close the pictures. And obviously, you can have it set up so. Let's see if I can replicate an idea here now. So move these up here, and then these two were up here. So now imagine what you'd want to do for your camera. Just zoom it out a little bit now. So imagine something similar to this. So I'll just go to 23. Set it up a bit nicer, obviously. You change the background a bit perhaps. And this will be a game screen. As you can see now, it's pretty much encapsulated the whole area. But what you've done is you've elevated it across a few platforms. So very much like what's this one? Very much like you could have like your catapult will be up here, and you've got to essentially fire it down here to knock this building, but also knock that. You wouldn't use the grass sprites, but you'd set it up as what's it called? Those house buildings. You can set it up in any way you wanted to. You can build your scene in any way, and you can utilize different aspects. So you go to components, physics 2D. You can utilize different colliders to sort of set it up. So let's say you had something floating in the sky. If you hit that, that just sort of is a collider. It negates you. It gets in the way. It blocks your way. If you use like that, if you use the yellow bird and you just like zoomed at it, oh no, too late. You ruined it. Or if you hit it, you can set it up so if you collide or anything before you use your power, then your power's gone, sort of thing. You know, when you tap and your yellow bird speeds up or the bomb explodes, stuff like that. So yeah, you can add in anything you want in your scene, and you can have it laid out, elevated like this, set up different ways. So we'll pick what's best, just to sort of set a few examples. I may try and find a better sky background to use. I do quite fancy using some of Kenney's assets, so we might now go again for this sort of curvy one. I was hoping they would tile, but perhaps I just need to put one behind the other or something. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so that's it for this video, showing the imports, what we're using, a bit of where they come from, bit of a messing up, setting up a bit of an idea of a scene. The next video we're going to go into introduction to physics, so essentially we can just delete everything we've got here, or just move along and start working over here to mess around. Just to sort of demonstrate different aspects of the physics engine, and after that we'll set up our level structures, so then we'll be back to working on stuff like this. So hopefully within that time I'd have found which background I want to use. I mean, this background serves its purpose, it works absolutely fine. I do hope to find a background that could tile. But again, it doesn't actually matter what the background is, because if your game's good enough, not many people are going to really stare at the background and go, oh yeah, what's going on here now? This cloud is massive. Maybe it's a really stormy day, who knows? But yes, so thanks for sticking through this video. Like I said, we're going to set up the physics in the next video, so give this thing give this thing a thumbs up if you want, but as well as that, if you want to give the video a thumbs up, consider subscribing to keep up to date with the videos. If you didn't like the video, or if you got any questions, or even some feedback, feel free to drop some comments. You know, get in touch, let me know how you think things are going. I know I'm not the best speaker in the world, but I hope I'm getting my point across. So yes, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.